Hi, Gillian.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. How are you doing?
Good. It's kind of funny meeting you at this time.
No.
It's a little later tonight or today, afternoon.
Afternoon tea time. What are you drinking in your afternoon tea?
Well, in my basic witch mug,
I love it.
I have green tea. I need some just energy because I still have stuff to do tonight and later. So, yeah, it's funny. My husband's like, "You're no basic."
Oh, I love that. I
Like,
love
isn't that the truth?
that.
How about you?
Well, I've got my positive words mug, and
Oh,
yeah, I just thought it was perfect for this afternoon, and I've got some chai, homemade chai.
oh, I love your chai. Oh, the original, the
Yeah,
real stuff.
yeah,
Mhm.
no tea bag stuff.
Yeah. And I love that there are words on your mugs. Like after our last conversation last week, was it last week? Yeah, was about affirmations and the power of that. Your words.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it
yeah,
can infuses whatever's in there, right? I just love
that's
it.
right. I've been more mindful of my words these days
Me
because
too.
I've been trying, with what's going on in the world, there's a lot of negativity, and I just don't want to feed into that anymore. So.
I
All
agree.
right, I digress. What are we doing?
Let's
Our
pick a
video.
topic.
Here's
Let's
our
pick a
topic.
topic. Yeah.
We're getting a little low, so we may have to ask our sisters or group to send us a note. All
Yeah.
right,
Tell
let's get a
Send us some
little one.
topics.
Oh, okay. It's just pendulums.
Oh, I like
So we can talk about pendulums.
yeah.
Do
Let's
you
do
have
it.
one on hand? Actually, I do have one in here. I
I
thought I had one in here. This
I
is my
don't
old healing room. Yeah,
oh, I'm glad you have one at arm's reach. Mine's in the other room.
this is an old one. Okay, pendulums. Where do you want to start?
Well, I think maybe a good starting place is to say that, you could pretty much use anything as a pendulum that's on a chain. Like, so some people even use their neck chain. Or not even wearing a chain today, but you could use a neck chain. I've seen someone use their set of keys as a pendulum.
Ah, you're right. And remember, like, isn't that an old wives' tale where you put a ring, so for a pregnant lady, and you put their wedding ring on a piece of their hair and you hang it over the belly, and if it sways one way, it's a girl. If it sways another way, it's a boy. That's pendulum. You're right.
Right. You could use your hair. Okay, let me see
I'm
if
not
I,
ripping out my hair. It's
well,
falling out enough.
let me see if I have a loose one.
Yeah, you have a lot of hair. I don't have a lot of hair to spare.
What a brilliant idea. So I can just make my own pendulum real quick. Can we see yours? Yours is gorgeous.
Oh, this is an old one, and you can see it's cricket. It's with the Merkaba. I used to
Oh,
use it only for healing work with the clear quartz in it and stuff.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's the thing with pendulums. People who don't know, it's a divination tool, and you can great get some insight. See, there you are. I was thinking even long earrings you can use as long as
Yes.
they can move freely, right? And
Yeah.
so what you want to do, you find out an answer. So you would hold it, and this is how I teach people. You would hold it above your palm and you grasp it like halfway like that. And then you ask it an obvious yes. So an obvious yes for me is my name Gillian? And so I'd wait. Of course, you want to brace your arm down, but you can't see that way. But you put your arm down on the table so you're not moving it, and you see which way it sways. So for me, it's going in the circle. So that's my yeses. And then for you ask an obvious question, that's a no. And I'll say, is my name Steve? And that's my brother. And for me, my no's go back and forth. And that's how you can find out what your yeses and nos are. I find most people's yeses are circles though. How about
Yes.
you?
Yes. Mine actually is so my yeses are up and down, like the forward and back, and my no's are left to right.
Oh, so yeah, everyone's different. Everybody's energy is different. So it's always good to check. So practice your basic yes or no's. And you can use it for, you can even do a chart. So if you have a piece of paper and you can write a circle. So
Yes.
if you're wanting to make a decision, you know, um, A, B, or C, D,
Yeah.
and you see which way it sways to. So that's another way.
I just made a pendulum with a strand of hair in my ring. You guys, we
You
can really make pendulums anything. Is that weird?
You don't need a lot of money. Don't spend it on a fancy Merkaba. Don't waste your money. But you know what I like about it? It's just a tool to practice um, tuning into your own intuition because
Yeah.
it is your energy affecting it, right? So
Yeah.
it's just practicing learning to listen. I don't usually know because I'll just use it because I'm like, oh, I know what's happening because you can feel it. But it helps you practice feeling that energy
Yeah.
and
And
feeling yeses and nos within your body.
yes, and that's the key, right? Because when you know something is true, your body vibrates a certain way. And when you know something is or no or not good, your body vibrates a different way. And all the pendulum is doing is showing you in the physical world how your body's vibrating. So,
Exactly. Exactly. And it's a great tool. I love it. However, do you find that when you're really attached to the answer, so am I going to win the lottery? Of course, I'm attached to yes, I am. I want to win that money. Oh, it's mine, right? And I always get yeses because I'm so attached to the outcome. So I find it's important when you're asking for self, you have to let it go, really not be attached to the yeses or nos, being
yeah.
open to a no when you really want it to be
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I find also that the lottery example you gave is beautiful. And another one that I've seen people get really attached to is when they're asking questions about relationships, right? Because sometimes we have a lot of
Oh,
attachments about we want it to go a certain way. So, like you
yeah,
said, and you couldn't have said it better, is just you got to let go of the attachment to
yeah,
the answer.
absolutely. Yeah. And then also, what else about I wanted to say? Oh, so this is what I do. I'm curious what you do when you're asking questions for other people. I was taught that not to do it on your palm, but actually do it over your wrist. So when you're
Oh,
connecting with somebody, I'm not too sure. Well, you have a lot of energy on your palm kind of thing, not so much on your wrist. So if you're asking for someone, do it that way. I guess you can write it down the person's name on a piece of paper. That might be a good way. Have you learned any ways of connecting with other people?
so I haven't heard of the wrist one, but I love that. So what I usually do if I'm asking a question for someone else is I just bring my entire focus to them. So I picture them if they're not right in front of me. I'll say their name in my mind to really just make sure that I'm being super clear and everything that I can do to bring them, them into my mind, their name,
Yeah.
everything. So I usually do that.
Oh, okay. That's great. That's perfect. And that's what I like to do too, is connecting with their energy and always have permission, especially if you're doing healing work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of healing work, this is great. I use this. This is why it's in my what used to be my healing room. I would use it to go over people's chakras, so if they're laying on the table and see if it's how it's swaying and if it needs to be um, energized kind of thing, my pendulum would tell me or pick it up kind of thing. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, and then the other thing too that I remember what, like if we've used the pendulum quite a bit or somebody else has handled it, it's good to cleanse them like
Oh,
right with a bit of
yeah,
sage or some sunlight and moonlight, just
that's
cleansing them
great.
energetically every now and then like you would cleanse your crystals.
You're right. That's brilliant. Oh, salt would be good.
Yeah. Yes.
Even running it underwater, I find so purifying. As long as it's not one that dissolves like selenite or something,
Yeah.
or your
Yeah.
hair. Well, not your hair's gonna dissolve, but it might clog up the drain.
Oh, that happens.
I don't know. What else can we talk about for the pendulum? I don't know.
um
There's so there is so much. I
yeah.
mean, my kids, you can find lost items in the house. So just walking around and asking, is it on this floor? I lost keys, and it'll say no. I'm like, fuck. Oh, I'm swearing again on tea time. People might as well know that I'm not no basic witch.
I love it.
Anyways, it's great for finding lost items.
Yeah.
My kids love playing with them. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And that's something, back I used to years ago, I taught a pendulum course and that's what we would do. I'd tell people, okay, have somebody else hide something in your home and then use your pendulum to see if you can find it.
I love it. What did you find? Like, what were the results like?
So, I mean, and it was a really beginner course. So some people had success with it, some people still needed to work on it. But what was so great is that somebody else hid the item, right? So they had no way to cheat.
Exactly. I love that. That's a great way. Geez, if I teach another pendulum class, I might steal that idea.
Go for it. It was fun. They had fun. And oh, and the other thing I wanted to add about when you said, take a paper and you can hold your pendulum over it. That I just remember because that was something else we did in that class. So if you want to, let's say you want to know when something's going to happen, like let's say in what month, like you want some some deeper guidance about a certain month. So you could actually have like I liked to use a pie chart and then
Yeah.
have the 12 months of the year, and then
Yeah.
hold your pendulum over top and see over which month it ends up swinging on.
That's brilliant. So that's a good insight where you should start your class, or
Yes.
you're making a decision on a date, when's a good time to sell something.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, and that reminds, like, I use a pendulum chart for essential oils, for oils I want to use on people when I was doing healing work on people. So I would just let it guide it. And it would always be the perfect oil for that person. It blew my mind.
That's
Yeah.
brilliant to use it for essential oils. I never thought of that. I love it.
You can steal it, my essential oil queen.
Thank you. Oh, I love it. I love it. So
All right.
should we pull a card?
Yeah, I brought out today Earth Magic with
Ooh.
Stephen Farmer. That's an old one.
Yeah, let's
I
see.
don't know if he's even around anymore teaching.
I have his animal spirit guide deck.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I
Oh,
don't know if he's
oh,
around.
I had too many flips. So um, I think everything, well, that's another conversation when he was married to Doreen Virtue and
Yeah.
they divorced. And yeah, that's another tea time video when we're not being recorded.
But I love his work though. I mean, his animal spirit guide book is I have it on my phone and I have a hard copy on my shelf because I just love messages from animals.
So do I. Yeah, that's really, I have that one too. That would be a good conversation,
Yeah.
spirit animals. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll add it to the bowl.
Okay.
No one's added that one. Ocean. Can you see with
Oh
that
yeah.
light?
Ebb
Ebb
and,
and flow.
ebb and flow. I love it.
Uh, well, isn't that interesting? This reminds me of the ebb and flow, trusting, flowing with it. And that's part of not being attached to the outcome. Being attached, you're grounded, you're rooted, you're not moving, you're stubborn. So you have to be in that flow, right? Especially when you're doing divination, you can't be attached. Like even doing oracle cards, you're like, well, you just have to trust and flow with it.
Yep. And I love that. I think that's so big. It's that trust and that ebbing and flowing because
Yeah.
that's where, trusting and just I always tell people just go with what you're feeling, go with what's coming to you and what you what your pendulum is showing you. Just trust and go with that. There's no need to like triple question it or judge it or wonder.
I'm so glad you said that. You're so right. Do not question yourself. Trust the first answer that comes through. That is usually your soul speaking. And then when we're like, oh, I don't like that answer, I'm getting in there, that's ego. Or, like, oh, I'm not too sure about that. That's ego. So, yeah, trust. And trust is ebb and flow. Brilliant. I love that.
I do too. Perfect message for us today.
Perfect message. Yeah, that was fun.
I
In the
love it.
evening. Maybe
Yeah.
next time we'll have wine time. Well, you don't drink. Wine time with Gillian and tea with Alishia.
We should do that. I love that idea.
Scotch with Jill. And
Oh, I love it. So should we cheers to
okay.
trust?
Cheers to trust.
Cheers.
We have to sip.
Yes.
Bad luck. All right.
Okay.
Sending you love.
You too. Love to you.
Yeah. See you later.
Bye.